Today we're going to be learning about Go Fish, but not just traditional Go Fish. We're going to be learning a couple different ways that we can vary this game to help with our students' math skills. So in traditional Go Fish, you have one deck of cards, and you have a minimum of 2 players, although this game works much better with 3 or 4 or more players. So you shuffle the cards, and then you would deal 5 cards to each person, and place the deck in the middle, and that is your Go Fish pile. Each player looks at their cards, and in traditional Go Fish, you would look for pairs of cards that match. So for example, 2 black aces, or any other card that matches with the card that you have. If you have a match, you put it down in front of you to start the game, and you replace those 2 cards. Once you have no matching cards and your opponents have no matching cards, then you would begin the game. So the game starts with one person chooses another opponent to ask if they have a certain card. So for example, I might ask Birthday Bear, do you have a black 5? Birthday Bear would look at his cards. If he has a black 5, he would give me that black 5. I would make the match and go again. If he doesn't have a black 5, he's going to tell me to go fish. So I will take a card from the pile, add it to my hand, and then it is the next player's turn to ask an opponent for a card. The person with the most matches at the end of the game wins. So that is basic Go Fish. Now we're going to change this game a couple different ways in order to practice math skills either in the classroom or at home. So the first way we're going to do this is, instead of making pairs of cards that are the same, we're going to look at the number of the card and make pairs of cards that make 10. So in this version, you're actually going to remove all of the kings and queens from your deck, and you're only going to have aces to jacks, and jacks are going to be worth 0. So instead of 2 black aces that would be a match, you'd be looking for cards that would make 10. So for example, an ace and a 9, or a 7 and a 3. And you can make this game more difficult or less difficult by making sure that they have to be the same color. So you could have the one version of the game where you're just worried about numbers, so a 7 and a 3 does not matter what color. Another version of the game, you might want to have the colors match, so it has to be a red 7 with a red 3. Or you could even go one step further and have it by suits. So that is the 10 pairs version of this game. The next version of this game that we're going to talk about is the compensation version. So in this game, you actually need 3 cards in order to make your match. So in this game, you can play this a couple different ways. You can make all of the face cards worth 10, or you can make jacks worth 11, queens worth 12, and kings worth 13. And what you do is you play the game like normal, but for example, in order to make a match, I have to have a card and then 2 other cards that also make up that card's total. So for example, if I have a jack in my hand that is worth 11, then I need to find 2 cards that also make 11 in order for it to be considered a match. So in this case, I would have a jack, which is 11, and then an 8 and a 3 that also makes 11. And now I have my 3 cards that make my match, and I would set that off to the side. The last variation of this game that we are going to talk about is called Total 14. So jacks, in this version, jacks are worth 11, queens are worth 12, and kings are worth 13. And what you're trying to do is add up cards to make 14 in combinations of 2. So for example, a king and an ace would be 13 and 1, that would be 14. Okay, a queen and a 2 would be 12 and 2, that would make 14, and so on. If you have any questions about any of these variations to the traditional game Go Fish, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, have fun practicing your math skills.